Good evening and welcome to The Fixed Fight. My name is Misty. I'm so glad you're here tonight. We're one of 50 plus podcasters here at BGTV Studios. We've got one mission, and that's to bring you the gospel of Jesus. We do it 50 different ways. Our way here at The Fixed Fight, our assignment is to the early addiction recovery community. That's me, that's you, that's who we're bringing it to tonight. Love our sponsors. Want to mention them. You saw them before we came on. Out From Under, Men's Sober Living Transition in Vestavia. We love you. If you're a man looking for sober living, please give them a shout. We provided their phone number before our podcast tonight, and we will post it. Property Stewards. Property Stewards are some great friends. We have a great relationship with them. They have an opportunity to be a, what's my word? Oh, man. What is, Lord? Anyway, you can look up Property Stewards. Y'all, it'll come to me in a minute. Ironwood Realty. What is it?
I don't know.
What is it? I know it. It's killing me. Anyway, it'll come to me. Sorry, y'all. Ironwood Realty. I'm buying a house on June 5th, and they helped me, y'all. They've done a great job. So thank you to Ironwood Realty. And we love your heart. We love the heart of our sponsors. So thank y'all. I say this every podcast, and I mean it. If you're using or drinking or struggling tonight, please stay with us. You're going to hear something encouraging. And if you need help, please reach out. You can message me. You can message BGTV Studios. Tonight, we're going to get right into it. We got a long, kind of a long story, but we want to get into this. Recovery comes in all forms. And tonight, we're coming from a little bit of a different angle. It's not drugs and alcohol. It's recovering from the influence of the world. So tonight, we're talking about the pressures to achieve, the pressures to accumulate, the pressures to chase success, chase money, chase things, buy more, do more. Your identity is not in Christ, it's in the world. And so tonight we just kind of want to look at a picture that's radical. The name of our podcast tonight is Radically Simple, and I think you're going to see why. My guest, his life verses, let me read those to you. Psalm 40, 1-3. I waited patiently for the Lord. He turned to me and he heard my cry. He lifted me out of the slimy pit, out of the mud and mire. He set my feet on a rock and gave me a firm place to stand. He put a new song in my mouth, a hymn to praise to our God. Many will see and fear the Lord and put their trust in him. That's beautiful. Let me introduce my guest. This takes a minute. And I do this he doesn't like for me to introduce him this way. And let me explain. So to frame this story, I need to introduce you like this. So no further ado. 45-year career in music entertainment in the nonprofit world. He was the president of the Gospel Music Association. He was the president of Reunion Records. He served as the head of music with Crosswalk.com. He served as president and CEO with CNI, the Worship Network. He was instrumental in the migration of broadcast television to digital distribution. Launched 5Wise Technologies in 2015. Served as CEO of Lab Cabana Biosciences, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Launched Willow Bend Creative. Currently serves as president of Unwavering Resolve. Serves on staff at Hope Rising. And the best for last, he is also a cancer survivor. Man. And I've pulled a quote from you, if you don't mind me reading it before we meet you. It says, after what most would consider a successful career, I entered a time of significant loss. I faced cancer, lost a family member to addiction, surgeries, changed jobs multiple times, struggled to provide for my family, and ultimately, a business partner stole what we built, leaving my family and me with nearly nothing. During this time, I slept in my car for a few nights as I learned to let go of the most precious things in my life. I had to deconstruct some of my views about God. I ended up in a place where I found what I had always wanted, contentment and joy. Let's welcome our guest, Bruce Koblish.
Wow.
Hey, Bruce.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you
Glad
for
you're
that.
here.
Now, well, I got to live up to that. Some of that, right?
Well, I'm trying to compact, a 50-year story into 22 minutes.
Yeah.
So in order to tell your story, I really need to paint the picture of where you were and let you tell our listeners about hitting rock bottom and where God has brought you.
Yeah.
So for our listeners, I gave the resume. Take us into 2011. What happened in 2011?
Wow. 2011 was the year, I guess, when you would say everything fell apart. It was on a specific day when my wife and I had a very difficult conversation and decided we needed to separate. 36 years of marriage. There were just a lot of things going on, and trying to fix something, trying to find the best way to resolve problems just didn't happen the way we had both hoped that it would.
Yeah.
And so we made that tough decision. And that was like, what I find hard in telling my story is that bad things in life happen.
Yeah.
And God turns those into some kind of eternal victory. So I would never say that somebody that breaks their marriage or has to separate or divorce, that it's a good thing. But as I tell my story, I always struggle with the right words, because that was part of feeling and experiencing extreme loss that had been a rock for me for so many years.
Yeah.
And it was just followed with a string of things that weren't really related. We had found out around that time that our son was dealing with schizophrenia and bipolar, and we had to pull him out of college and have him come back home to talk to specialists. Of course, we were a Christian family, praying for him and just dealing with a lot of the fallout from that, which got very severe. He had attempted suicide a couple of times. Of course, we loved him to death, and what do you do? So here we are, this upper middle class family that goes, we didn't expect this in our life,
Yeah.
And how do you deal with it? A brother-in-law who was a national TV star at one point, had made a lot of money. His life fell apart. He lost millions of dollars, ended up overdosing on fentanyl in Nashville when he came back, because he didn't have any place to go.
This is all the same time.
It's all starting in 2011 to 2018 was really 7 years of just ridiculous loss.
Yeah.
And through that, it sounded like when you were introducing me, probably I need a job is what it sounded like. But the moving around was predicated on two things. Number one, I always had this deep desire to serve Christ, to be his servant. And I had a certain picture of what that looked like. Part of that picture was framed by the simple promises of Jesus himself. And it seemed like, well, why, if we say he's our security, why do we work so hard to have our own security? And those kind of things were always there. Then it became out of necessity, though, at that difficult time. I've just got to find work. And even with a great resume, it was super tough. I mean, wherever, whenever, I was taking work to bring money in. And it just continued down that path with deaths of both my mother-in-law and mother. And I mean, it's crazy stuff. And then trying to remedy some of the financial part.
Yeah, so you were trying to make it work. You were trying to fix things.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
And because I had done well in the past, I was, all of a sudden I found out I'm, obviously trying to help my wife and both of us, and therapy is expensive when insurance doesn't cover it. We went through thousands of dollars. Our son was dealing with what he was dealing with, and that was, he just couldn't survive on his own, so there was all about money. It was a layout of that, how to help him to live. And my mother-in-law, who had really had nothing, she had moved to Nashville, and because my brother-in-law ended up overdosing and his life crashing, he had been helping her, and I was the only one left in the family to say, hey, I'll pick that up. So all of a sudden I'm paying to really keep 3 adults active in life, and myself came to the end of that list. That was part of I think that Midwestern, the boomer mentality, all of that was,
I'm going to fix this.
I'm going to fix this, and boy, the harder it is, and the more I sweat and the more I hurt, the better job I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing. So between 2011 and 18, that all just happened. And simultaneous to it was this deep, deep, deep spiritual process. Because I kept asking, like, if God is really this way that I've been taught and thought, then the same questions a lot of people ask, then why this?
Yeah.
You know, if this is the truth, why don't I see other people, many people living that way? And it wasn't a critical thing, more about saying, you know, self-analysis. And I got to figure my stuff out. So I went into a thing of reading things that most people would think you shouldn't read. But I mean, I was reading deep philosophy books, even that would challenge the existence of God. And what that all did for me, it ended up coming back to the place I realized that God is so much bigger than I ever imagined.
Yeah.
And I'll say it, and I think I've heard maybe others have said this, that today I know less about God than I've ever known. But what I do know, I know to be absolutely true.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we can get into a thing where we want to pack our lives so full of things.
Yes.
We're doing more. We're doing more good things, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And that was part of the thing I realized had happened
Yeah.
to me. So letting go was a huge part of that transformation.
I think in addiction we experience this as well, like a bottom. You know.
Oh, yeah,
And kind of what you're describing is a relief. You know, I believe I know your story isn't addiction, but it's an addiction to an identity. It's an addiction to material. You know, it's addiction to taking care of yourself or being
Yes, sacrifice of self.
Yeah, and I just think it's amazing that, you know, you sought out, you went away from God, and you tried to read things or tried to find out why is this,
Right.
and God brought you right back to Him, which kind of brings me to, you talk about clearing the stage. What's that?
Wow, that was a beautiful moment. The one person that really helped me after 7 years of torturous loss, let me put it that way, because it was, while I was gaining a new perspective of who God is and how He lived in my life and how I needed to treat that. I'd been in the music industry and had done some work with Amy Grant in the past, and word had gotten back to her that I was having a really rough time. I mean, I was tired of asking friends to sleep on their couch, and so that's why sometimes I just deferred to, hey, I'll just pull the car over and sleep there, and it got really tiring after a while. But she came along and said, hey, I've got a place for you to stay out on my farm. Nobody else lives out there. It's several hundred acres right outside of Nashville, and so I remember vividly the first night driving there. I was working in Philadelphia. I would fly home and be back for a while, and we had a chance to reconnect. And we were sitting talking one time about loss and about getting our lives back together and how we deal with brokenness. And she just came up with that. She said, you're clearing the stage.
Yes.
I can still hear it in my mind. I go, clearing the stage?
I love it.
That's phenomenal.
It's great.
And I was able to look back and say, that gave words to what had been going
Visual.
on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't bad. I mean, when you finish a show, you clean the stage, you clear the stage. It was a good concert. We're clearing the stage, you know? And so it wasn't all doom and gloom, but wow, here's a bare stage.
Yeah.
And we know the next, I'm using the music metaphor, but the next artist is going to come along. They're going to bring in their own lighting, their own sound, their own show, if you will.
That's right.
And I'm going like, wow, I don't want to try to rebuild what I had once, because I don't care about that.
Yes.
So clearing the stage, I think, is really a metaphor for just letting go. Let it go.
Yes.
I mean, I have so many stories I could tell about letting go. I had saved a piece of furniture that my grandfather had brought over from Sweden, and it was in the home where I grew up next to earlier in life. And I held on to this thing because someday, by golly, I was going to have my own cabin in Montana. And I kept this furniture because I wanted to have it there because it meant so much. And I remember, it's emotional now even thinking about it, starting a big fire out on the farm and realizing that I didn't need that anymore. And I had no place to store it. I had a 400 square foot place, and I put it in the fire pit and burned it.
Man.
And I did that with many things. And I stood there just crying because you have to let go of things is not easy.
Yeah.
It's easy to let go of things you don't like, right?
Of course.
But things that are the most precious to you in your life.
Yeah.
So, the letting go, when it came to a point where it was necessary at first, because circumstances and things were like, I can't, everything's just happening at once.
Yes.
And sorry, this is always
No, it's
emotional
okay.
for me.
I think
it's so deep.
it shows where you've come from and where you're going, and your story, what you're telling about this part of your story, shows that you literally did let go of some very precious things. But I like what you just said. You said, I don't want back what I had.
Correct.
I don't want what I had. And I think this for our listeners, it helps because God, 2 Corinthians 5:17, God wants to make you new. God wants to make you a new. So I think for somebody listening to you tonight, you've embraced that on a whole different level, and it's to me it's inspiring. You have let go, and you've also allowed God to lead you into this whole different direction. Tell us a little bit about after after these experiences, and after Amy said we're clearing the stage.
Right.
Amy invited you to to come to her ranch.
Correct.
And so, what did God start doing there?
Well, first of all, I'm a nature lover, and I believe Romans 1:20. God reveals His personality, His character in creation to the point that nobody has an excuse for not knowing Him.
Yeah.
So nature is powerful. So for me, the guy that loves outdoors, loved going to the mountains and camping and fishing, that was a perfect place to be because it was solitude, but it was really being in touch with who God was and God is. I was just going to say the letting go at first, and I think a lot of people experience this. A lot of times you have to let go of stuff because you can't afford the car payments, so you let go of the car, but you're going to get another one.
Right.
You let go of this and that. You don't do the vacation. You let go of those things. Well, those things were happening to me out of necessity.
Yeah.
But there was a point about 2 years into it where it became a matter of choice.
Yeah.
And why would it become a matter of choice? Because I started seeing the things that I was being blocked from knowing by anything I had in my life.
Come on.
See, I'd lived a life that I never was materialistic, driven by that. But if somebody else had a brand new Lexus, I would get a new Toyota. By comparison, I was working around very successful, wealthy people. So it's pretty easy I'll get the lower model car. I won't have quite as big a house,
Yeah.
And it felt kind of like, this is the way you do it. But all of those things had to be stripped away. We put things in our life that are mistakes, that are patterns in our life, things we've done that are wrong.
Yes.
And we have to let go of those, or they destroy us. They bring us to bitterness. Health-wise, they just bring us down. When it became a matter of choice is because I started to see that the best things in life are things that come to us, not the things we pursue.
Yeah.
My discovery of joy was when I got all the stuff out of the way. And the stuff, even like friendships or letting go of family. Thank God our family's in touch all the time, but you let go of them. It's not your source, your bottom line source.
Yeah.
That's when joy came to me. And it was kind of like it was there all the time. I'm the one that put these crazy colored glasses on or allowed things to be there that prevented from seeing it. So joy and contentment kind of started. I felt, this is amazing. And even in the loss, you go, the freedom.
The freedom.
The freedom is amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing. And that's what kind of, started changing during that time.
Well, I think, we were talking before we came on, we got 6 minutes left, so we're going to make it happen, Bruce.
Okay, got it.
We were talking a little bit about true freedom, and for folks that might be listening to us are struggling, the true freedom would be drugs and alcohol. But it's equally comparable, what you're talking about. And I feel like our message tonight is for somebody that's struggling with, continuously striving doing,
Right.
needing to be a better parent, needing to buy more stuff, needing to
Right.
change where they live, needing to change their hair color. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
always something.
Yes,
I'm being
yes.
funny, but it's constantly something. And what's so inspiring about you, and I'm about to ask you about this, is that I believe you've found a place where you've absolutely embraced just following God.
Yeah.
And I think that is some kind of a message for us tonight,
I somehow learned along the way that suffering, challenges in life, pain have a purpose.
Yeah.
Pain has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear throughout scriptures. We don't hear that preached a lot, but through pain, if we embrace it,
Yeah.
we will find what God has in that for us. The thing is that, especially in the West, we fix it all.
That's right. That's
know?
what we're talking about.
Yeah, we fix it all.
And if we can't fix it, we do drugs and alcohol.
Correct.
Or we find some other way,
Something
eating
else.
or gambling or
Or
whatever it
serving too many nights at church and not being with
there
your
you go.
family.
Come
I'm
on,
just
come
calling
on.
it out
Yeah,
honestly,
that's
know.
good.
The verse that summarizes it for me is something that I'd read all this throughout my life, but when Paul says, having nothing,
Yes.
yet possessing everything,
Everything.
you try to get your head around that.
Yeah.
When you're sitting there with everything you need, with your retirement accounts, your beautiful home, the family's doing well,
Yeah.
it's really tough. But when that's stripped away and you go, I have nothing.
Yeah.
Wait, I
have
possess
everything.
everything.
Man.
That's an amazing truth. It's an amazing truth, and I live by that today. I do do I do perfect? No, not at all. I mean, I had bread pudding today because I had to have some.
We made you do that. That's stunning what you just said. That's stunning to me.
It's a reality, I think, of following Jesus. We can believe in Jesus, but following him is a different thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
absolutely.
you follow him and just don't believe anybody, even Satan and the demons believe in Jesus, right?
That's right.
So that's no big star on our crown.
No.
Follow him. And
Dying.
he will take us to places where we might have nothing. And in a sense, we don't
have everything,
anything.
though.
We have everything in him. Yeah.
I think it's so empowering to hear what you're saying. I've got 3 minutes. I'm going to hit on Your Story Matters.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit? Bruce is doing an amazing initiative. Can I call it that?
Sure. Why not?
And if you'll give it to us in a minute, can you do that? We got
Sure.
1 minute. Yeah.
Sure. Telling our stories is one of the most powerful things we can do.
I love
We
this.
have retreats and music that we're creating called Hope Rising. And basically, it's built around telling your story. We have leading songwriters, Grammy Award-winning writers that come and listen to the stories of those that have been in addiction, homelessness, and are coming out of it. And they listen to those stories and they write fresh and new songs around them.
Yeah.
That brings another vehicle to telling our story. A story heals us when we tell it correctly, and it brings encouragement to others when they need the same thing.
Yeah.
So Hope Rising is retreats, it's new music, and it's in the process of becoming even a docuseries where we tell the stories of individuals like yourself, pair it up with the songs that have been written, and present it so people can understand that broken people are people too. Homeless people and addicted people are people too,
Yeah.
and they're not what you think.
It's so uplifting, too. I have I pray for this initiative because it's so uplifting for someone that may have been discouraged their whole life, may have used for 20 years.
Yeah.
May have been homeless for the last 5 years, may be estranged from their family or loved ones, maybe can't work or hasn't. I think what y'all are introducing is on a whole new level from God of, kind of writing somebody's story again and giving them encouragement to get back out there. So I love that. I love what y'all are doing.
It's called Hope Rising for
Hope
a purpose.
Rising.
It is rising. It's
That's
not,
right.
as hope is something I think can be elusive, but it says in scriptures that perseverance, struggling brings perseverance, character, and character, hope. So if you want to get there to real solid hope, that's what you need to do. You go through your struggle, you persevere, you develop his character, and then you have hope. But that hope just keeps growing in him.
Well, Bruce, I can only hope to get close to at some point in my life what you're walking out with Jesus. It's very inspiring. Can you finish this sentence for me? You want to try it?
We'll try it.
The greatest lesson I've learned about transformation is blank.
Nothingness is everything in Christ.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I feel like it's crucified. We're crucified.
Absolutely. That's what those words mean.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you. It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure having you here tonight. I meant what I said. If you need help, please reach out to us. We love you, and God does too. If you want to give to Unwavering Resolve, we're going to post a code along with the replay. We thank you, and we love you. We'll see you next week.